Hello and welcome. You're watching our special broadcast as we decode the poll of polls, the exit polls, and of course the big focus tonight is the Heartland states, where the BJP seems to be ruling the roost. Of course, a lot of health warnings there. These are just exit polls and we're still counting down to the big verdict day. But if exit polls are to be believed, then the BJP is all set to maintain its record as far as most of the Hindi Heartland states are concerned. These are the overall numbers on your screen. You of course have the NDTV poll of polls predicting a sort of a sweep for the BJP and also the BJP sweep in many of the Congress-ruled states as well. We'll decode all of that. My colleague, senior colleague Veera Raghav is also with us in studio. Veera has been travelling through the length and breadth of the south of India, so Veera would have a lot of interesting perspectives to add on this discussion as well.
Well, that's right, Vedant. That's all we can do till the 4th of June when the actual numbers will come out. Till that time, we can only stick to analysis and the exit poll numbers that we have. Remember, two parts. One was the Heartland parts and the hardcore BJP areas, what the opposition India alliance could do in terms of damage there. That was one part of this election, and the other part was what gains they could make in the east and the south. Let's look at the Heartland areas and how the exit polls have sort of predicted what is in store on the 4th of June today.
Absolutely, and we have a wonderful panel tonight. Manisha Priyam and Sandeep Shastri are with us in studio, our in-house analysts who always have a lot of interesting perspectives to give. Professor Badri Narayan is also with us. He's professor at the Govind Ballabh Pant Social Justice Institute. Aarti Jairat, senior journalist, is also joining us. Thanks all very much for being with us tonight. But before we start our analysis, listen to what Union Minister Kiran Rijiju had to say on the exit polls. Take a look.
Some of the opposition leaders currently are saying that these are exit polls and do not think that these are the final results, and the final results can be dramatically different. This is the opposition's claim. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Rijiju?
No, opposition claim has no basis, because I have gone to Tamil Nadu, I've gone to Ladakh, I've traveled across Northeast, I had gone to Mumbai. In fact, my last election campaign was in Mumbai. I met some minority communities, majority communities. So across the country, east, west, north, south, I have seen a very same kind of pattern in every part of the country, that Modi ji has to become the Prime Minister again. So it is Prime Minister Modi who is the central figure in the entire election campaign. And people of India started giving that slogan. No, the 400 par slogan is not given by Modi ji. It is people who said it. Modi ji only repeated it and picked up the slogan and then raised in the public functions and rallies. So the opposition party trying to, discredit the exit polls is basically making themselves happy for 2 days.
All right, so the BJP minister is there exuding confidence, but a deep dive into the Heartland states, and starting with the state that is the basis of our numbers, Uttar Pradesh, the largest state when it comes to the Lok Sabha seats. And what the NDTV poll of polls has essentially predicted is that the BJP is set to better its 2019 tally. The NDA, in fact, is set to get 68 seats in Uttar Pradesh. What is different this time, of course, is the fact that you have the RLD also contesting with the BJP. How that has played out is going to be interesting. The BSP going it alone. The NDTV poll of polls, in fact, has predicted 12 seats for the India bloc. Let's quickly take a look at the other Heartland state, and that is Madhya Pradesh, where the NDTV poll of polls has predicted 29 seats for the NDA, which essentially is the BJP in Madhya Pradesh. In fact, the NDTV poll of polls says that the India bloc is set to get only 1 seat. In fact, this is similar to what happened in 2019. In Rajasthan, meanwhile, remember last time around the BJP won all seats in Rajasthan. This time around as well, it seems to be the case that the BJP is set to win nearly 22 to 23 seats, but the NDTV poll of polls also gives the India bloc 4 seats. Gujarat, of course, is the stronghold of the BJP, the Prime Minister's home turf, where it's going to be a complete BJP sweep as per the exit polls. Again, a lot of health warnings, and we'll keep qualifying it as well. These are exit polls and not the final results. In fact, let me go across to Manisha Priyam on this, starting with, of course, Uttar Pradesh. It's been very interesting this time around that you have the BJP contesting an alliance with the RLD, the BSP going it alone. Rajput anger is something that we've discussed a great deal through the course of the campaign. But how do you look at the numbers there? Because the BJP is set to better its tally, if the exit polls are to be believed.
So I do think on your screen, Professor Badriji is there, and he's the UP expert to speak to. But I would at this point say that I do tend to believe that these numbers are very, very credible. You can see the alignment in the numbers, that's one part, but you can also see that the range that you have, the uppermost is giving 72 to 74 seats, and Dainik Bhaskar has a lower end of 55. So if you didn't take out an average and simply traversed the world of these various ranges, you would find that the lowest that the BJP is ever getting is still just 55. So I believe that the BJP is going to do a little better than that. Last time around, the SP and the BSP were standing together. It was the Bua and Bhatija combination. This time around, the Congress and the SP are fighting. The Congress's voice and narrative, but not enough presence on the ground. It's largely the SP and also Om Prakash Rajbhar, the voice of Samajik Nyaya, not behind
Yes.
Akhilesh ji at this point of time. Also the fact that the Kurmi leaders have now abandoned Akhilesh. So Akhilesh was relying on the narrative and ticket distribution largely, and whatever anti-incumbency etc. it may have been. So I would say still last point is that even this performance is pretty good, given that Akhilesh is notching up the seats that belong to the BSP.
Manisha, every journalist who's traveled across, and this is across the board, and I'll take this to Professor Badrinarayan and then come to Sandeep Shastri as well, they were able to say that Bihar, this was happening, Maharashtra, this was happening, Karnataka, this was happening, and every journalist who sent a message said UP is the wild card. No one was able to pick up a clear categorical trend, though of course the India Alliance members, and I tell you Professor Badrinarayan, several of the India Alliance members had a sense that, look, UP, there has to be something. The opposition has to galvanize itself in that bit. Was there an indication to this fact that the BJP is going to retain its seats in UP? If there was an indication, and if these exit polls hold true, what would be the larger takeaway? Because we did see Priyanka Gandhi Vadra campaigning in Rai Bareli. We did see Akhilesh Yadav taking the lead. There was a sense of cohesion as far as the India Alliance was concerned in terms of fielding candidates there. What would be the large takeaway if only if these exit poll numbers hold true on the 4th of June?
Yeah, Vedant, you expect from me?
Yes.
I have to talk.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes,
Hello?
Professor Badrinarayan.
Yeah, Vedant, first of all, yes. I'm fully agree with my colleague panelist about Uttar Pradesh. And in Uttar Pradesh, 60 to 70, everyone in Uttar Pradesh, not journalists like those who are coming from Delhi, but those who were in Uttar Pradesh, they were saying that BJP may, this will be the election of incremental loss or incremental gain for BJP in Uttar Pradesh. This was the argument which the people were giving in Uttar Pradesh. And there were two reasons of that. It's very right that the caste division, caste fragmentation, arrogance of the angry Rajput or various kinds of discourses came in this analysis of election. But they all missed, or most of us missed rather, that Modi this election was not the election of narrative. This was the election of image. And it was a Modi-centric election. And so there was a lot of local anti-incumbency against MPs, candidates of the BJP. But most of the people were saying, Modi ko hi vote denge, kya kare, koi aur wo hai nahi, Modi ko hi vote denge. So in spite of all the disagreement, dissent, people were voted to Modi. First thing is that. Second thing is we under this perception versus reality. Perception is being created that UP is again caste is emerging Uttar Pradesh, and we all miss that this ration politics and this Labharthi is still very powerful among Dalits. So in Dalits there were only two voices, BSP party को बचाना है इस बार, and राशन जो राशन दे रहा है उसको वोट देना है. There were only two group in Dalits, and you know in opposition they diversify their social alliance this time. It's very true. But they didn't make it popularized among common people. They couldn't get time to make it a popular alliance among public. So it is an alliance between various leaders of the community, but not it couldn't disseminate it at the grassroots level.
Right.
That's the big problem for them.
In fact, that's an interesting point you're making. You know, the social coalitions are really very important there. But as you said,
Russian politics and coalition could not be popular. Yes.
Right. Sandeep Shastri, come in on this, because while we discuss the social coalitions, what's also interesting is that that UP is perhaps the last state where this double engine sarkar plank is still relevant. And when you travel through UP, a lot of people will tell you that it's not just the Modi factor, but the Yogi factor as well, because he continues to be a very popular chief minister.
I think if you look across the country, one state where you really have a double engine sarkar,
yes,
it is UP. In the other states, it is the second engine moving behind the first engine.
Yes.
This is the only state where you actually have support for the BJP coming for the state government separately and for the central government separately. And I think that is one of the factors that is seen in the numbers. Now, I am standing in the land between ifs and buts, and given the exit polls.
As we all are.
And keeping that in mind, if you see this poll, this is one factor. There is a second factor, which is what you said, the social coalition. The exit poll seems to be showing that the BSP is on the back foot, and the votes of the BSP appear to be moving towards the BJP, and that social coalition they are building up is also having an impact. Third and last, I think, if there is one state where the Ram Mandir construction would have an impact, it is UP, and that is seen in these exit poll numbers. And if I were to believe these figures, it would be for these three factors.
It's fascinating that you say that, and I just want to widen this conversation a little bit,
yes,
Vedant,
yes,
as well. It's not just about UP, right? We are talking of UP, MP, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Aarti. The issue really for the Congress, and would you agree, is that in this heartland states, it doesn't have that one state which is a Congress versus BJP state. It could even be a mid-sized state with, let's say, 25 to 28 seats, something like a Gujarat or a Madhya Pradesh, not like something as big as a UP or a Bihar, but the one state or two states which is a direct Congress-BJP fight, where the Congress, when it says it's doing well, can actually rout the BJP. Until it develops that kind of a state where it can say that, look, we are not just going to win by a small margin, we can actually demolish the BJP in that state and take away all the seats, it's going to be in trouble. Something like a Tamil Nadu where the India Alliance can say 39 out of 39, or a Kerala where the Congress can claim to say 19 out of 20.
Yeah, well, you know, Tamil Nadu and Kerala are quite different because the BJP has yet to actually build a base for itself, the kind of base that it has in North India, which is a really, I mean, Madhya Pradesh is one of the oldest states for the BJP. The RSS presence in Madhya Pradesh, goes back many decades. Rajasthan also, the BJP has had a presence for several decades now. UP came much later, but, since the 90s, with, on the back of this whole Ram Mandir movement, the BJP has made massive inroads into the state. And yes, you are absolutely right. In the north, there is not a single state where the BJP and the Congress, a bipolar state where the BJP and the Congress fight each other, where the Congress can actually rout the BJP. Not a single state. And, I think that was really decisively proved in the recent state assembly elections, where we saw the Congress getting completely routed in Madhya Pradesh, and defeated in Rajasthan and routed in Chhattisgarh as well. Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, two states where they were supposed to win, but they got completely routed. So it just shows that whenever the BJP comes up against the Congress is unable to actually put up a strong enough challenge to defeat the BJP. And I think that this really, because, we're looking at something like 200 to 250 seats, where it's, Congress versus BJP. And, if the BJP can, wins 90% of those seats, that's a huge base to start with.
And as you make that point, and I want Professor Sandeep Shastri in on this, on the larger picture, you see, when we spoke about these elections, and let's assume and take the exit polls only at face value at the moment, not in terms of taking it too seriously or too lightly, just on face value. Even when the narrative was being built, and the Congress's narrative, which was a very strong, dictatorship, threat to constitution, it was a very, very strong kind of narrative that the Congress had built. But the projections that the Congress gave you was never a sweep out away from the BJP. It was always about, okay, we'll be at 220, we'll be at 230, which meant that if it wasn't the BJP, you could have most likely a hodgepodge government that came into place, which means that you have not been able to build a wave. And the only way you can combat a government that's in with waves repeatedly is by a counter wave. Without a wave, you cannot undo the BJP.
There are 2 points. The retreat that you have seen of the Congress in 2014, we have not seen a recovery happening from there. And if you are to emerge as the key challenger to the BJP, then you should at least be doing well in straight contests with them. You see, how do you emerge as the key challenger where the Lokniti CSDS pre-poll showed that there is a 67-33 vote division in direct contests? Now, when that happens, how do you emerge even for acceptance in the opposition bloc as the key player when you yourself are not able to beat the main opponent in the direct contest with them?
Interesting. In fact, let us also bring up the next set of graphics to discuss, the heartland, the Paschim, as it were, starting with Haryana. It's a very interesting number there. The BJP, of course, the bid was to sort of max out all the 10 seats in Haryana. But what the NDTV poll of polls says is that the BJP is likely to lose 3 seats to the India bloc. There have been a lot of political developments in Haryana, the last minute change of chief minister, of course, a whole political crisis there as well. So Haryana will be one interesting state to watch out for, which is traditionally considered a BJP stronghold, though a 10-year incumbency there. But it remains to be seen how that pans out. The other very interesting state also is Punjab. It was a triangular contest there. While the Aam Aadmi Party Congress alliance could go through, the BJP also, the BJP going it alone in Punjab. And the NDTV poll of polls says that the BJP could win 2 seats. Now, that is really the number to watch out for. And it gives force, okay, so we don't have the India number, do we? But 2 seats for the BJP, that's interesting as well. Looking at Delhi also. Now, what the NDTV poll of polls essentially says that 7 out of 7 seats will go to the BJP. So, in a sense, a repeat of what happened in 2014 and 2019. But 1 or 2 exit polls actually say that the India bloc could manage 2 to 3 seats. So, even that is going to be significant.
And it was in Delhi, and Vedant, you cover this very closely. If you were to look at across the board, some place where there is some kind of corroboration, I think even journalists who are covering Delhi said, look, this seems to be the case.
Yes.
We don't see a change. So, Manisha, what does that mean? You have the chief minister arrested. There are unprecedented, images that are being beamed out. The party that's in power at the state claims that it's being, extinguished by the BJP with the use of central agencies. Does this mean that all that doesn't matter? It's not an election issue? Or is it that, look, that's a separate issue. It will play out when the state election comes. This is a national issue. Even now, we don't see an alternative to Modi.
But just to add to that, Manisha ji, even if 2 seats go to the opposition, Delhi is a reflection of what happens nationally. Even if 2 seats go to the opposition, that's going to be extremely significant.
So all of this is true. But I think the one important thing that's coming out in all the polls is that the Aam Aadmi and Congress party coming together have not been able to significantly breach the citadel of the BJP in national elections. Now, in state election after state election, earlier it was the Congress, and then Sheila Dikshit won the elections convincingly for 3 record times. And then you had Arvind Kejriwal. In the local elections, Arvind Kejriwal has been able to trump the BJP.
Yes.
But national elections, I still feel that there are knots in the alliance between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. It's not just the numbers. It's not been, come in Arvind Kejriwal, exit Mr. Arvinder Singh Lavri. Arvinder Singh Lavri exits, goes out, comes back. A lot of the people on the other side are definitely turncoats.
So are you saying then, and Vedant, this is an important question, and let's take this to Professor Badrinarayan as well. Is it then the lesson, if these exit polls, and I again say if these numbers hold true, is it then a lesson that, look, the India Alliance's strategy was to turn this into a localized election, state by state, not a presidential type contest. They wanted to keep it firmly as a parliamentary election. Is it then that, look, there may be resentment, there may be dissent, there may be issues, but till you can offer a clear-cut solution to it in terms of a face and a stable alternative that's going to come, it's going to be difficult to take on a personality as strong as BJP without prime ministerial face going in for that election. Would that be the takeaway, Professor Badrinarayan?
Yeah, I think you are very right. Actually, the opposition, India Alliance, couldn't evolve an image which can counter to the Modi image, or which can challenge to the Modi image. And neither narrative, nor image, nor narrative. They try to evolve this Samvidhan, the reservation, the caste, etc. But it couldn't work because they don't understand that now time has been changed. This is not the time of identity politics. This is the neoliberal time in which the identity is being diluted. Now an OBC youth wants a reservation, also want invitation from Ram Janmabhoomi inauguration, also want to go Chicago and deliver lecture. So they want a package, and BJP offered that package. And in that package, Modi is very important. And their opposition is not able to understand that they are doing politics with the diction which is 20, 30 years before 90. Before 90 diction, they are doing the politics.
Right.
And that's why they are losing again and again. They lost for a state election with this narrative. And again they repeated this narrative in this election. And whenever they narrate, they repeat it, they get unsuccess in this campaign. So this election couldn't project, they couldn't project national narrative in this election.
But, just also, keeping our focus on the heartland, when we talk about states like Haryana and Punjab, and when you travel to parts of Haryana and Punjab, agri-distress, Aarti Jairath, is something that is real on the ground. People will talk about
even
rural distress, even in Maharashtra, as Veera is pointing out. But, the fact that the BJP could potentially double its tally in Punjab, as per some pollsters, in Haryana also not much of a loss. So is the farmers' trust intact in the BJP and the Prime Minister? Would you, if these numbers were to be believed?
No, I don't think so at all, because the BJP already, as far as I know, have 2 seats in Punjab. So
Yes.
if they're winning 2 seats this time, it's really status quo. They haven't
2 to
gained.
5 is what
And mind you, they
pollsters
got
say.
all those defections from the Congress and so on, and but they've not really, that hasn't actually helped them to increase their tally. And as far as Haryana is concerned, remember, they have successively swept the state since 2014. If this time they're actually losing 2 or 3 seats, it is a loss for the BJP. So I think this agri-distress, the anger of the Jat farmer,
Yes.
the 2 rounds of farmer agitations in Delhi have had an impact, as far as the voters are concerned, and that is why you're seeing the BJP slipping here slightly. But you see, at the end of the day, these are small states. And, together they get only 24 seats. When you compare it to a state like UP, or you compare it to a state like Bihar, this is really small change. So, it doesn't really help the India bloc very much, to gain this 2 or 3 seats in Haryana or, whatever. The main thing is UP. And, that is where they seem to be unable, UP, Madhya Pradesh, big states, where they seem to be unable to break through that BJP wall.
That's right. When we started this election, there was two sets of states, as I mentioned at the start, Vedant. One is the set of states where the opposition had to inflict losses on the BJP. The other was the set of states where the BJP hoped gains. So most of us analysts were looking at the lost states and the gain states. And as Aarti points out, some of these states, Haryana, Punjab, while it may have the national attention, are still small states in that bit. But when we go overall, I think the key state, Vedant, is also Bihar.
Yes,
let's look at the numbers for Bihar that the exit polls have projected, because this was a state where the alliance arithmetic was supposed to work. And in fact, Rahul Gandhi declared that the Congress-India alliance was going to sweep that state. Let's see what the exit poll says on that.
Right. In fact, Bihar, very interesting. The BJP, of course, wanted to better its tally. But what the NDTV poll of polls says is that the NDA is likely to get, almost... okay, so Bihar is, I'm not sure what the number our poll of polls says, but okay, 34 to 38.
That's the ABP. That's the ABP.
That's the ABP, this thing. So NDTV poll of polls essentially says that it's 33 for NDA and 6 for India. So, in a sense, it's the RJD doing the heavyweight lifting there, but still 6 seats to the India bloc, Veera, and 33 to the NDA.
Manisha has been tracking this state very, very closely. Manisha, what's your sense as far as Bihar? This was one of the states for, enormous amount of optimism for the INDIA alliance, primarily because JDU was seen as a drag on the BJP. What do you make out of the exit poll numbers? I mean, if it holds true on the 4th of June.
So, I think the exit polls, they tell you a range, but I am looking at 8 as the number.
Yes.
Literally.
8 for?
For the India alliance.
For the India alliance.
And however much, people were talking about a sweep and 250 rallies by Tejaswi, well done, he was not even well, etc. This was a basket case of too much narrative and too little organizational strength on the ground. Now, I'm going to decipher even these small numbers and tell you as to how much any heavy lifting the Congress is doing. So, you can make the narrative. Did you have the organization on the ground? Did you have polling agents and booths? Till the end, I would be asking the India Gathbandhan and the RJD that, okay, which are the seats that you seem to be winning very clearly? Those names would be shifting all the time. And I would cross-check and find polling agents missing, people have run away, but the national narrative, the national picture, etc. So this was telling you that over-leveraging in the YouTube space and underperforming on the ground.
Which is very different, Vedant, compared to a state like Karnataka, where when they have the surge, they also have the boots on the ground. I
just want to add one more thing, and that is that in Bihar, therefore, where you can see that Nitish Kumar definitely has held on to ground, and the hypothesis with which we had started is being rejected. That is because the votes of the Pichdas that he has together with him, and Prime Minister had insisted, let's go with the alliance. And I think even though lots of people felt BJP should go it alone, I would give it to the Prime Minister for his political savviness to have taken the risk of going with Nitish Kumar, and it's a win-win therefore for the NDA alliance.
Who would have thought in 2014 that Nitish Kumar and Narendra Modi will campaign together?
Yeah, I mean, credit to his political acumen there.
Sandeep Shastri, every time Nitish Kumar has contested with the Prime Minister, as Manisha Prem is pointing out, the BJP-JDU combo is a win-win one, because every time he is contested with the Prime Minister, not only has the vote share gone up, but also, the number of seats. So, do you see that as a factor still, the JDU-BJP that chemistry there playing out on the ground?
The caste arithmetic as well.
I think it's not just the chemistry of the seat share, it is also, as I said, the chemistry of the caste that they are bringing together. And let's also remember the BJP and the JDU have junior partners within their alliance,
right,
who also bring in certain social groups, who also bring in certain geographical areas into the support base. Now, it will be interesting to see that other than the BJP, which of the NDA partners are doing well, and where is it that the RJD is snatching seats away from the NDA alliance? Because last time the RJD had a single seat.
Single seat,
So
yes.
that would be an interesting thing to watch out for. The increase of the India alliance seats is coming at the cost of which NDA ally?
We've got last 5 minutes left, and I think, while Bihar is very important, quickly, what does it mean for the RJD if these numbers hold on? Very quick response.
So for the RJD, you also have to remember they are in alliance with the left this time, the CPIML. So it will mean therefore that the RJD will have to move left of center, keep on with the OBC narrative to snatch it away from the JDU, and unless the Congress begins to perform, the RJD will.
So let's move to the other state, Vedant, which is Maharashtra. I think that's the
most
big one.
interesting state, and perhaps some sort of a fight there, because the NDTV poll of polls says that NDA is set to win 29 seats in Maharashtra and 19 seats for the India bloc. So that's interesting. It's a battle of alliances.
Remember last time, and I think Maharashtra, we've discussed this, Aarti and Professor Badri Narayan, often. In 2019, the BJP by itself won 23 seats. The rest of the seats were won by the Shiv Sena and some went to the NCP,
yes.
In Maharashtra. Is it that the Shiv Sena's Uddhav Thackeray factor and the sympathy that the Uddhav Thackeray factor had is more than, let's say, the agrarian distress, which was also stark in Maharashtra and Karnataka, questions of agrarian distress? The BJP still seems to be holding on to its own as far as that state is concerned. This was a state where the opposition really was hoping to have huge gains, Aarti.
So firstly, I would actually like to see the actual breakup. When they say in the alliance, how many seats has Uddhav Thackeray won, how many seats has NCP won, how many seats has Congress won, because that would give you an idea of which are the issues that came to the forefront during the campaign. Maharashtra is one state that confused everybody, including the political parties. I was talking to some BJP people today, and this is one state that they themselves are very, very unsure of, despite what the exit polls are showing, because it has been so confused. But I will say this one thing, that apart from whatever sympathy factor there may have been for Uddhav Thackeray and for Sharad Pawar, I believe that when the two parties split, particularly the Shiv Sena stayed with Uddhav Thackeray. The party in the Legislative Assembly may have crossed over with Eknath Shinde to join the government and for gains, but the actual workers on the ground stayed with Uddhav Thackeray. And that probably helped Uddhav Thackeray, in this election campaign, and must have worked against, Eknath Shinde. But as I said, I'd like to see the actual breakup, which nobody has given yet. So I think we'll have to wait till June 4th to do a proper analysis of Maharashtra, which has been the most confusing of all the states.
Absolutely. And Professor Badri Narayan, what do you make of the Maharashtra numbers? Because the confusion not only among the voters, but also, as Aarti Jairat is pointing out, among the cadre as well, which is the real Shiv Sena, which is the real NCP, that existential battle that both the factions, particularly the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena and the Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP were fighting. If these numbers were to be believed, what does it mean for the Aghadi, for the Mahavikas Aghadi?
I think when this division of Shiv Sena took place, we were all thinking that now Uddhav is going to finish. And the BJP, in collaboration with this Eknath Shinde, it will make irrelevant Uddhav politics. But I think if this prediction exit polls are going to be true, then it will prove that there are the pockets and there is a sympathy, that's true. But there are pockets where Uddhav Sena traditional, Uddhav Sena Thackeray is powerful, is strong. And there are pockets where Eknath Shinde, Uddhav Sena, Shiv Sena is stronger. So there are pockets, politics of the pockets. And second thing is the sympathy is true. And the same you can see in the case of NCP. If Sharad Pawar get more seats than the Ajit Pawar, which our predictions, exit polls are saying, then it will again prove that the Sharad Pawar network and his politics is still relevant for the Maharashtra. But among all these narratives, there is the central narrative in this Maharashtra case
Okay.
is again, I am again and again saying that in this election, Modi is the image everywhere, either in Maharashtra.
That's true for perhaps
or in
almost
Uttar
every
Pradesh
state.
or
That's
in
been
Bihar,
true for the last
in one
decade.
sense or another sense.
Absolutely. But Veera, I still think Maharashtra is one of the states that could throw a surprise. Also, Bihar, extremely interesting there.
Yes.
But thanks very much. I think that's all the time.
Surprise for me in Maharashtra is the allies of the BJP.
Yes.
The general feeling was that they would not do well, but the exit poll says that there are some numbers for them also.
as well.
as
Remember,
part of
there
the
will
battle.
be an impact of these results, whatever it is, at the end of the day. As Aarti is pointing out, we'll have to wait for the final numbers. These are only exit polls, but there will be impact of these results as far as Maharashtra is concerned on the state assembly as well.
Yeah.
One has to wait and see how that plays out. It's fascinating, Vedant.
Yeah, even for Delhi and Haryana. But that's all the time that we have on the show this evening. Thanks all very much for being with us. With that, we'll slip to a short break. Now much more on the other side.